today we are having a webinar on this webinar. The name of this webinar is Tempered to Hack, and I hope you all are able to see my screen. I will start my screen sharing with you all. Are you able to see my screen? I hope you all are able to see my screen. So now I will start my presentation. This will not be a PowerPoint centric webinar. I will be showing you live demo of everything which I will show you in this PowerPoint presentation. Then I will be doing it live, and you have the option to follow me. You can follow me, and you can do along with me. And you have the option to follow me. Or if you want data encryption live encryption, I will show you all the capabilities of it and how you manipulate them, and I will show from the beginning. And then I will also be discussing after showing this price tampering. I will be discussing on like how you all can start bug bounty, because during this pandemic of COVID-19 you all are sitting at home ideal, not doing nothing, watching TV or playing PUBG, right? So you can do something constructive. You can take participation in bug bounty programs. You can hunt bugs. You can help companies, and they will give you benefit also. Like they will give you price amount of like cash amount or swags or anything. So it will be beneficial for you and as well as for the company for whom you will be doing bug bounty. Sorry for the interruption. We have one more invite. I'll invite him. I will log. Yes. So I will be telling you how you can start bug bounty from the beginning. How you can start, which website you should register, and what should be your approach. Everything, and then carriers in cybersecurity. What carriers are there in cybersecurity and all, what you can do in future if you're doing BTech CSC or you're doing BTech IT or BCA MCA or whatever, then what are the scopes for you which you can do or you can pursue. Then we will be having I will be showing you a live demo on a live website of XSS cross-site scripting, and it will be a stored cross-site scripting. And after learning this you can also apply this in hunting bugs. And then I will tell you OTP bypass, how you can bypass OTPs, because in this era every uh, application, web application or anything, you receive OTP of 4 digit or 6 digit. So how you can bypass them, so I will also tell you that. And at the last, as usual, we will have a question and answer session. If you have any question to ask me, I will definitely tell you. So yeah, let's start the live demo. Someone is waiting in lobby. Okay, I'll Vishal Singh. Okay. So yeah, so we are going to start our live demo. So first thing first, you all fire up your Burp Suite, open your Burp Suite. I hope you all have downloaded it as many people have raised hands. This is the exe file and it was also shared in the email. So you all have all downloaded this, I hope. If not, no issue. You can understand and you can do it later on. So here is my Burp Suite. You have to click next. Can you please mute your mic? Someone have active mic. So can you please disable your mic for now? Yeah, starting my Burp Suite. This is a community edition, but it's sufficient to do price tampering and XSS, which we will be doing now. So yeah, here is our Burp Suite community edition. So I hope you all have opened. I will take feedback from you. Please raise your hands who all have opened Burp Suite so that I'll come to know. You have a raise hand button. You can see it after right side of three dots. And please raise your hand so I come to know. Yes, yes, yes. Many people have already opened. You're facing any problem? Other people's, because till now 13, 14 people. Okay, fine. Many people have already opened up and rest you follow me. What we need to do now, you have to go to the proxy tab. As I told before, Burp Suite is a proxy tool. I mean, it will start a proxy server so that all the request goes through Burp Suite. And so to do so, you have to go to proxy, this proxy tab. I hope you are following me. After that, you go to options, proxy, then options. Then you click this 127.0.0.1. As you all know, the 127.0.0.1 is the local loopback of your computer, that and Burp Suite is listening on port number 8080. So now we will open our Firefox and set it up with Firefox so that all the request of Firefox goes through this local host at port 8080. Make sure this is running. It's click tick. Do not disable it. Now open your browser. Open Firefox, and now you have to go to these three lines over here, and you have to go to options. This is the setting of your of your Firefox. So you go to options and you will land to this page of general. So you go all the way down over here, you will see network settings. So click on settings. I hope I'm not going that fast. You all are able to follow me. So this general, again, I will show you. If I was fast, I will close it. Yeah, go to these three lines and then you click on options. You will land into generals. Then you go all the way down here and you will see network settings. So network settings you have to change. You have to click on settings. Then you have to go to manual proxy configuration. Before there was no proxy configured. So now you have to go to manual proxy configuration, and here you have to enter the local loopback IP, which I told you before and many of you might know. It's 127.0.0.1, and then the port number, as you have seen in Burp Suite, it's listening on port 8080. See, I'll show you again, port 8080. So now you have configured the IP address of local loopback and the port number is 8080, and then you also click this option also for FTP and HTTPS, and then you click on OK. Now you have to download a certificate. You follow with me, and yeah, now you make sure that you on your Burp Suite, go to HTTP. Go to this intercept tab, and this intercept should be off. It should not be on. If it's on, it will stop your request over here. It will not forward it. So make it, don't turn it on now. Make sure it's off. So now you type here http colon double slash burp. You just have to type this http colon double slash burp. You write it down on a piece of paper. Please have a pen and paper with you so that you can note down these things. So click enter. So here you have a page will open up, a local HTML page, which is which you are able to see through Burp Suite. Now you have to download the CA certificate. This certificate is necessary because you will not be able to access the HTTPS secured website. So to do so, you have to download the certificate. Then only you can view the websites. So yeah, now you click on CA certificates. It will automatically download. It will ask to open or save. You click on save. You all know how to download files. So yeah, click OK. Then fine. It has been downloaded to your downloads folder. Now again you go to options, or I'll show you from the beginning. Click on the three lines. The same thing, go to options here, options. Then you will land into general, but now you have to go to the privacy and settings, because you have the certificate and you have to upload it. You have to upload it into Firefox so that you will be allowed to view HTTPS websites. Now you click on view certificates. These are the list of certificates which are there, but you have to import this button. Click on import. As soon as you click on import, a browse window will open, and you have to click on certificate.der, which has been downloaded. The name would be same, CACERT .der. So you open it. The extension would be DER. Make sure. So open. And yeah, the main thing, you have to trust it. Trust this CA certificate for identify like website, and for the email users you click OK. It will not it for your age, so it will not create any kind of problem later on. So click on OK. So now you can see, you can go to google.com, verify it's working or not. Yeah, it's working. And to verify, you what you need to do, you turn or on your intercept. You go to this proxy, then intercept, and turn it on, and you refresh google.com again, and you are able to see all the requests which are sent by Google on, I mean from your browser to Google. It is not going directly to Google. It's first of all it's coming to your proxy, Burp Suite proxy. Then when you forward it, then it's going. For example, we search something, for example, Apple, and then you search it. So you have to forward it, or you can turn intercept off so that it will go to, pass through Burp Suite, and it will open up. And then I hope you all have done it. Please raise hands who all are able to follow up. We have two people in the lobby. Yeah, please let me know. You're facing any problem, you can unmute your mic and say something. Very good.
Repeat the website name.
Yes.
Can you repeat the website name, sir?
Website, you mean this one, this process?
Yes.
Okay, fine. But are you able to see this page?
Can you give the link of that page?
Yeah,
That's all.
the link of this page is this one. But you have you configured the proxy before this one, which I told? This
Yes, I have written the steps down.
This, have you done this proxy? Okay, you have written it. So first of all, you have to configure the proxy. Then only this page will open, because this is on the this is not on WAM. This is opening through Burp Suite only. So when you configure it with Burp Suite, your browser, then only this page will open. And yes, as you have said that, please repeat. I'll repeat it. Go to this link. Please write it down. HTTP, as you can see on my screen.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So now, anybody else is having problem, please let me know. Don't hesitate. Just let me know if you are having problem. Just your mic is disabled, and please activate and tell me.
Hello, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm able to hear you. Yeah, please tell me.
Yes, sir. Sir, could you please repeat the process of certificate import?
Certificate import. Fine, fine, fine. Have you downloaded the certificate by clicking on CA certificate over here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Then what you need to do, I will start from the beginning. I'll close it. Click on these three lines over here. Then go to options. Then you have to go to privacy and security. This one. After going to privacy and security, go all the way down here, and here you will find view certificates. This one. Click on view
Okay.
certificates and click on import. After clicking on import, it will open a browse window, and then go to downloads and wherever your certificate is installed, and select it and click on OK. Then you are done. Yeah,
Okay,
so
sir.
yeah. So anybody else is having problem in setting up Bubsuit with your browser? Because this step is very important. After setting it up, then only you can do further.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hello, sir. Can you
yeah,
hear me?
yeah, Sham, tell me.
I'm. I missed the first part section. Can you please please provide that network settings, sir?
Network
It's once
settings.
more.
Okay,
So
sure. You open your Firefox, then you go
okay,
to the three lines and then options, as I've shown you. Then on this general, go all the way down here. Then you will find network settings. And in this network settings, click on settings and then go to manual proxy configuration. Then you have to type this IP address. This is the local loopback of your own system, 127.0.0.1, and then the port is 8080. Have you turned on your burp suite? If not, then this will not work. You have to turn your burp suite on, and when it's listening on port 8080, then you have to configure. Fine.
sir, I can't find it. Oh, sorry.
You
General.
you general all the way down. You go all the way down, and you will find connection settings. This one. Or no problem, you find in options, you have a find option over here. It's very simple. You just type networks. Are you able to do
Okay.
this?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Main problem is I am using the latest
But
Firefox. That is my
no
main
issue.
problem. Okay.
Okay, so we have some restricted time and we have to complete all the topics. So I'll upload this video. Need not to worry, Sham. I'll upload it. Yeah.
Okay. You can continue.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, we have Bubsuit ready as I told you. So yeah, when you are going to google.com or any website, all the requests are passing to Bubsuit. So now we will go move on to this part of our webinar, which was data tempering or price tempering. So to do data tempering or price tempering, what we will do is I have a website. Yeah, so this is a e-commerce website, same as e-commerce as in like Flipkart or Amazon or other websites. They are big websites for e-commerce, but there are many websites like this. Like for example, this one. So what we will be doing, this website sells some products like essential oil, or gels like aloe vera gel and all. So this is an e-commerce site, you can buy it online. So what we will do, we will add something to our cart, and we will change the price of it. For example, the price is something like 500. We will only pay 1 rupee and we will make the payment go through. So as I have shown you in the presentation also, I will show you here. So see, what will happen in this scenario is Bubsuit will send all the requests. Your browser will send all the requests to Bubsuit and then to the server. So it acts as a proxy, as I told you. Then it's when you post the amount. For example, the cart is of 500 rupee. You will change 500 to rupee 1 and you will forward the request, and the server will think that yeah, you are paying rupee 1, and then okay, it will be successful and the product will be delivered to you. So how this works, I'll show you using this diagram also. So this little guy, user 500, he is very notorious. What he is doing, user 500 is legitimate. He is only authorized to view document 500. As you can see, user 500, he can only see the document of user 500 because it is only meant for him. If he try to view he cannot view user 502. Only user 502 can view this document 502. But what he will do is that he will ask the server, can I get document? And in the parameter of user id equals to 500, he will pass 500. Then okay, fine, this is okay. This is as working as per the application how it is supposed to work. But now what he is doing, he's manipulating. What he's doing, can I get the document? And my user id, he says, equals 502. He is supposed to only get 500 of document 500 because he's user 500. But what he is doing is he's saying the server, can I get the document? Server is asking which document, because server is vulnerable to it. It has not been configured. It has bugs. So what here he do is user id equal to 502. He tampers with it. He changes it. He changes 500 to 502, and then he views the document of 502. So this is as simple as that. So the same logic we will be applying on our price tampering, which we are performing now live. So yeah, so what for example, we order anything. For example, here we go. This is some kind of essential oil, basil essential oil. Okay, fine. So what it's asking, the weight, okay, 10 ml, the quantity I'll say 1, the amount, the price of it is 400 rupee. As you all can see, it is 400 rupee. So we will change this 400 to rupee 1 and we will make the payment go through and your product will be delivered. So here this product is having nice review, rating, good. So now you add it to your cart. You have added to your cart here. So now you have to check out. It's added to your cart, your trolley. Now you have to go for the billing. So okay, let's start the billing process. Click on checkout, and then it will be asking you for your account because they need to keep the data. So maybe but no need to register or any account or login. You can continue as a guest. Click on as a guest. You can then, but still as a guest it will ask basic details like your name, your email, your phone number, your address, your country and all. And how, let's see the charges. This essential oil rupee 400 and shipping charges are rupee 100. So total will be 500. Fine. So okay, let's start. I will enter some name, for example CIC. Email address, it doesn't matter because I'm not ordering it. So I will just write a dummy address. This is not a real address, just for the demonstration purpose. It is asking a phone number. Yeah, it's 10 digit. Yeah, fine. So now your address Address you can write anything. Your country, okay, fine. India. Then your state and your city you can write Jalandhar. And the postal code. Yeah. So now it will take you to the Paytm's website for the checkout process. And then what we will be doing is, when you are not doing anything, you are in general you are ordering, you click on place order, it will send the price of rupee 500 only, and you have to pay the same amount. The checksum will check that whether you have paid or not. But here what we will do is, now see very carefully, now the game begins here. Now turn this intercept on. Intercept on means all the requests will go through Websuite, which is sent by your browser Mozilla Firefox, and the website which we have opened is this one. And we have added a essential oil of rupee 500. So now we will click on place order. Click on place order, and this is, and here you write 500 down below here. It will, this is just for the finding purpose, it will turn yellow. And then start forwarding the request. Forward it, then again forward. There is nothing like 500. Yeah, here now you see, here is the main game. Here the txn underscore amount is of rupee 500. This, now you change this to 1, and then you forward it. Forward it. And now you see the magic. Your cart was of 500. You were supposed to pay 500, 400 the cost of essential oil, and 100 delivery. But now you have changed it. You have tempered the price successfully. You are done. And you can order using your Paytm or your debit card, and it will come to you, the address you have, which you will be providing. But yeah, please note that please do not try it on this website, because we had the special permission to do so. And if you do so, they will not be giving you the order, because they will be fixing this bug soon. I have reported it through them. So our first section of our webinar is completed, of price tempering. I have shown you how you can price temper and all. So this all I have shown you. So the same thing we had done. This guy, he was only permitted to view document 500, and he also viewed document of 502. So same thing we have done. We have changed here the parameter is user ID equals to, and in our live website it was a txn underscore amount equal to anything you can write it, and the server will not check it. So here is the error. They have to put a checksum that it will start checking that there is no tempering in the price, and it's the same as before. And after it will compare it, then it will make the payment go through. But this was the vulnerability of this website. So fine. So now I will be discussing the second part of our webinar, which is how you can start bug bounty. As I have told you before, you all are sitting at home, you're sitting ideal. Please interrupt. Someone is again and again requesting me. I'll admit them. Yeah. So we were discussing on bug bounty. So as I told you, you all are sitting at home ideal. So you can start doing bug bounty. It will be beneficial for you, and as well as for the company for whom you will be doing bug bounty. For example, you do a bug bounty for Redbus or for Paytm, then they will also be paying you cash prices of like maybe around 10,000, maybe around 500, maybe around maybe also in dollars. Recently, I have done a bug bounty on a website. You all must have heard about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. I have done bug bounty. I found out bug and I have reported to them, and they have given me $100. Okay, fine, but it's good. You are utilizing your time. You are doing something constructive. You are helping someone, so it's good. So doing bug bounty as is very good. So what you need to do is, here I'll tell you, bug bounty programs are a great way for companies to add layer of protection to their online assets. So as I have shown you live demo on the site where you change the price. So if that I have already reported, but you can find out many more sites like that which are vulnerable. Then you can report them that this is your vulnerability, please patch it, and they will also reward you in exchange. So fine. So it's very simple according to me. Bug bounty is very simple doing it. It's a three-step process for me. You just have to find it. Okay, you found it out. Okay, then you have to report it to them, to the respective company, not outside. You don't have to make it public. You don't want to be a bad guy or black hat hacker. So what you need to do, you find out the bug, you report the bug and get swags and cash rewards. It's three step, very simple. And swags, many of you might not understand. Swags are like they will give you t-shirts of their company or pen or diaries or something. And don't think that they are giving something small. The thing is they are giving in exchange. They are happy, so they are providing you. So that the main thing is, the main goal of a bug bounty or bug hunter is that he is helping the company that they patch their bugs so that in future no one else can exploit their web application. So you have to register yourself to two websites which are very famous. You must also have heard about it. The first one is bugcrowd.com and the second one is hackerone.com. You can register later on because it will take time and we don't have much time. So you please note it down. These two websites, bugcrowd.com and hackerone.com. So there they give you ranks and they give you reputations. In hackerone.com, if you reach 500 reputation are for example, you post something on Facebook, you receive likes. It's same like that. How many bucks you find, according to that they will give you reputation. If you get 500 reputation, they will provide you gifts like Burpsuite Professional. Burpsuite Professional is a very expensive tool. It needs license. You have to renew it every 3 months like that, and the price it is very high, 55 for 60,000 for 3 months only. It's a very expensive tool. So you register on this website, and I will check the chat box later on. First, as I can see, there are many messages in the chat box. So yes, what we will do is that this we will you can also Google out things that which bug bounties are currently running. For example, Paytm is also running bug bounty. So it's a very great way to help other companies to patch it, as I have shown you in my live tutorial that on the website on which 500, and it will be fixed soon. I have reported to them and they were very happy to know that about this. So you can also take blessings of companies, and they might also give a chance of internship in their company if they are willing to. And after successfully finding it, you report it through email or through their forms. You can report them and you get rewards. See, this is the thing. And now I will discuss about the carriers in cyber security, what all you can do. Okay, first of all, let me check the chat box. I think there are many messages in the chat box, and two people are waiting for so long. Aditya, okay, fine. OTP bypass, okay, fine, I'll be showing you at last. You are Neeraj. No, it's not illegal, Neeraj. Actually, we have taken permission from them of doing it and showing you demo, and they will fix this soon. And yeah, OTP bypass. People are interested in OTP bypass. Nice, nice. And also, I will tell you basics that how it can be fixed also, to show the positive side of it. And yes, so now let's come to our topic again. I hope you all understood that how you can start bug bounty and start making cash and start receiving blessings from companies. And the carriers in cybersecurity, I was on this topic. So there are many carriers. For example, even if you are doing BTech IT or BTech CSE, or even if you are doing BCA, MCA, but the thing is not about the course. These degrees are just the gateways of getting into some companies or MNCs or any company. They just need the certificate and all. But the main thing is you need to have an interest. You have interest, that's why you are sitting with me here. You are giving me your 2 hours or your time, or you have joined this webinar because you have interest. So this is the main thing. You make it as a passion. So there are many careers, there are many scopes which you can do. You can open many doors. So yeah, first career, which I have some top 6 careers. There are many more, endless, but I have only listed few. Yeah. So secure. This one is security software developer. I hope many of you are from the coding background, as I have seen the feedback from the Google form. Many of you belong to the coding background, and you might have developed many softwares or websites or something. So you can also be a security software developer. What a security software developer is, he builds the security software and integrate security into applications. Like for example, you have developed a website or any application, you will integrate the security software with it, so that it will be in during the development process. So your software is very, like, you can say secured, or secured in advance. You know that the people uh, do such kind of attacks, like, and you can take measures before. So this is the role of security software developer. You can note it down. You can search much on it on Google, because I've given a short description only. And security architect career path. So a security architect is meant to create, build, and execute network and computer security for an organization. So they basically don't design, they like design these counter malware or hacking or DDoS attack. They detect software which can detect the attacks, like if someone is doing SQL injection. So they have developed some kind of software or filters that it will come to know, yeah, someone is performing SQL injection, or someone is doing DDoS attack, denial of service. It's called denial of service. So that people, what they do is they will take a website down, they will start sending many requests and all. So yeah, so these they also have knowledge of networking also. You can also do CCNA or any networking certification if you want. There are many certifications out there. And yeah, a security consultant. You can be a security consultant as well. As the name suggests, a consultant. You mean a consultant is like he has the catch of all security. He thinks like he is the expert of everything. He knows everything about things. That's why he's kept as a security consultant in any company, and they evaluate the cybersecurity threats, risk, and the problems, and give possible solutions for different organizations, and give them the protecting and securing their physical data, like the data centers. They will tell the ideas, they will suggest them what to do, what not to do. This is work of security consultant. And yeah, ethical hacker. So, ethical hacker is like, you can say, a white hat hacker, opposite of black hat hacker. Ethical hacker is a white hat hacker who practices hacking for a good purpose. He might be holding a CEH certification, Certified Ethical Hacker certification. You can also do it, CEH. You can take training and you can give the examination. and if you clear it, and it's very good, many opportunities will open for you. It means like they are licensed to do anything like hacking for any particular organization, and because they have a CEH certification, and CEH is not that easy to crack. They have a exam and all. So yeah. So computer forensics analyst. So computer forensics analyst, what they do is, I think you who all might have seen CID, right? Dr. Sanuke. So the same thing, a computer forensic analysis, what he do is, like he focus on cyber crimes, and he also works for the government or the private agency as well. But his work is to like find out, like if he finds a hard disk or a solid state drive or a USB or a mobile phone, then he will be given that device or that evidence. Then he will start analyzing it, and he will do forensics on it. For example, you have deleted something from your website. If, for example, some crime have been committed, and then the hard disk is destroyed, or they have tried to destroy it. So what cyber this computer forensic analyst will do, he will reverse it, and he will try to get the possible data out of it, so from the hard disk or from any kind of evidence. Yeah, and the last one is the penetration tester. I think we all are penetration testers. We always try to find out bugs, or we try to penetrate through web applications, or even when you some people play PUBG, they download the hack version and like that. So here, what penetration testers do, like professionally, what their is thing is, they discover the vulnerabilities, and they patch them before an intruder in real life attacks the application. He patches it before, he sees the picture before, and he patches it, and then it's good to go. Then if some kind of intruder or a hacker tries to damage it, then he will not be able to, because it has been taken measures before only by penetration tester. I think you might have got bored because I was discussing on this topic, and now again we will go to a live demonstration. XSS cross-site scripting, and this is very important. If you start bug bounty, you can start with this XSS. So what XSS is, like cross-site scripting is, as you can see here in the picture, like there is a website, for example, any website, for example facebook.com. Take an example, the website is facebook.com, and you are the visitor. What happened? Yeah, you have revealed the next slide. So yeah, so you are the visitor, and as a visitor you visit the website. As usual, you send data, you receive data, you send data, you receive data. But the thing is, when the predator or hacker comes, what he do is that he will send a malicious script, he will inject it in the website, for example on Facebook or something. So that script will start, you can say, stealing your cookie, or steal your informations like your with what kind of browser you are using, or what is your user agent, or what is your IP, or even he can log in into your account. He can pretend to he like to be you, and he can do. So now let's start in real life, live example. So again we have some people, let me invite them again. So now let's start the XSS. I will show you live on a website the XSS vulnerability, that how you can like do it. You can do it with me also. Go to this website, Spain. This one, campus.spain.travel. Can you please raise your hand, like who all are able to follow me, or if there is any kind of confusion, please let me know. Please raise your hand if you are able to follow me.
Sir, can I
Yeah,
ask something?
yeah. Sure, ask me.
When I Google it, I can't get it. It says insecure connection. In
Okay, fine. That is the thing, because you have not downloaded the certificate properly. That's why you when you
okay. I downloaded it and uploaded in said as previous.
Sure, no problem. You can follow the video which we will upload on YouTube. It's very simple, no issue. So now you can
Okay.
do one thing. You can follow the XSS cross-site scripting which I will be showing now. You can do that. For that you don't even need burp suit. You can do it without it also. Yeah. So anybody else is
Okay.
having any question, please let me know.
Is there any proper method to give the report?
What you are asking? Can you please repeat?
I'm asking about that bug bounty. You
Uh-huh.
said we should submit a report. So
Yeah.
is there any proper way to make a
Uh-huh.
report?
For a report, no, like basically it's not like for any kind of format for it. But yes, it's good if it's like you make it in Word, Microsoft Word, and you just define basic things, that how it's working and how you can reproduce it. Because whenever you report it, for example, you found a bug in Paytm, for example, you are reporting it. So the people at Paytm might ask you that please tell me that how we can reproduce it, how we can do the same thing, and then we can see like how to exploit it or how you're exploiting it. So to do so, you can record your screen also, then upload it to Google Drive and provide the link with your audio. Show a short
Okay.
tutorial. Yeah, there is no such format as in like you asked. Yeah. So anybody else, any question, please?
Okay.
If you are having question, please make your mic active and let me know. Okay, fine. So now let's begin with the XSS attack, cross-site scripting, and you all go to this website, campus.spain.travel. This is the website, campus.spain.travel. You don't need burp suit. This is going to be very easy. This will be a piece of cake for everybody. No need of burp suit, nothing. You just need to open this website and follow me. So are you able to open this website? You're able to see this one, these pictures, this website, Spain Specialist Program. I hope you are, because this website is live on internet, and if you are connected to internet, you can visit it. So yeah, now this website is basically like you can go to this website. You can do course for like the tourism people from hotel management or people who are doing tourism course. What they do, this website is giving a certification course like you can do, but our concern is not that. Our concern is XSS. So let's not divert and start the XSS on this website. So again, two people are waiting. Let them in. So go to this tab, log in. Go to login, as you will not be having account on this website because you are opening it for the first time. So make a dummy account and make anything. For example, I am making a dummy. Anything .com. Yeah, so just register it, and professional you do it no. Otherwise, we'll ask you much more details, and no one is willing to fill the form. So just write your email address, your password. This should be same. And first, email doesn't matter. Don't write your real email. You can write anything, no issue. And click on register. It will not send any confirmation, and yeah, done. You have logged in. So now, how XSS is going to work here in this website is, see, you all have logged in into the website. You make the account. Please unmute and let me know. Are you able to follow up? Please unmute your mic and let me know if you're not able to follow up this. So I hope everyone is able to follow up. So yeah, now you go to this ABC, I mean your first name, with whatever you have entered, and go to edit information. And then when you click on edit information, this first name, this one, this field is prone to XSS because I have checked it. Now to check XSS attack, the basic thing is you write a script tag. Script tag, and you raise a alert. For example, I raise a alert of being hacked. Fine, and you have to close the script tag. So the logic of this is you have changed the name. Before the name was ABC, or it can be anything, Ram, Shyam, or anything. Then you change the name to this script alert. You write it down, take a pen and paper and write this down, this script. And now you save the changes. It has been saved, and when you refresh the page, it will get reflected. See, so whenever you refresh the website or you do anything on this website, it will show this. And this is not only for the client side, it is stored in the server itself. For example, on my account, this one, and if I change my language also to Italia or something, it says the same thing. See, it will show a pop-up because we have raised an alert on it. So this is the main, this is XSS. And to for the better understanding, for deep understanding, what I will show you the source code of this website so that you can
Excuse me, sir.
yeah, tell me.
So if anyone is logging in from any other place, so they will also get the same message.
Yeah, they will, but but as of now, no. You will not be seeing this message which I have pushed. It will only be in my account, the account which I made. If you write my email and password, then it will, you will see, because it's stored. See, now I will show you the source code. You press Control U as usual to see the source code, and Control F, and you find hacked. See, so this is inserted into the website's main source code of HTML. So that's why every refresh you are getting this. That's why on every refresh you are able to see this script which is running. Whenever I log in this account, the same thing will happen.
Sir, will you please once more in that code part, the script, editing my editing details, please once more, sir.
Yeah, sure. See, I will change the language to English.
Let my friend in, sir. He is waiting.
He's waiting. Okay, sure. Yes, so now, okay, I'll show you again. Click on edit information, and first of all, let it be a normal name. We are not exploiting it now. I'll show from the beginning. See, this says Ram, first name. So what XSS is, we are inserting a piece of code and it is getting injected into the HTML of it. So for example, you raise a script alert, not hack, just one, and you save it. You save it. So you write this thing down. Script tag, open a script tag, alert one, then you close the script tag. You save it, and as soon as you refresh the page, you get a pop-up saying one. So this is confirmation that okay, this website is prone to excesses. You came to know, but this is harmless. The thing which we are doing is harmless, but still, if you report it, for example, you find this bug on Redbus or Paytm or Facebook, you can report them. You will get high bounty amounts because this is a very serious bug. People can also steal the cookie of someone. To steal cookie, what they do is here. What they do is they will raise a alert document cookie. Note this down. This will raise an alert of the cookie of the website which is made on your browser. And now when you refresh this page, see, are you able to see? This is a cookie. I think, are you familiar what a cookie is?
No, sir.
Okay, so what a cookie is
Yes, sir.
like, yeah. So okay, I'll tell you everybody also what cookie is. For example, you log in into your Instagram or for example also your UMS, it will give you a particular cookie, and this cookie will store your your username password. Basically not store username password, but it will grant you the access. If anybody pushes this gets your cookie, he steals your cookie, he will put he will inject the cookie and he will be able to log in into your account. So how this is working? This is working because this site is having a XSS vulnerability. Anybody is injecting any kind of code into a first name and he's able to do it. So
Hello, sir.
XSS, yeah, tell me.
Sir, how the hacker get these cookies when he मेरा मतलब है cookies जब वो किसी की steal करता है तो वो अपने पास कैसे लाता है?
Yeah, that I will
How
tell
to
you.
get those?
As of now, what I am showing you, it will you are only able to see it because when you are refreshing it, it's showing your cookie. But how a hacker will get this cookie? He will write an advanced script. He will, for example, he will get this cookie on his email, or he will make his own one of a server, and then he will redirect it. As you all know, the basic HTML, h reference equal to, or he will make his own website. He will host it to 00webhost.com or on his own. Then he will redirect your request to his server, and when your request get redirected, so this cookie also get redirected. Obviously, if your whole request is getting redirected, your cookie will also get redirected. So he will steal this cookie and he will insert it using Bubsuit, or he will insert it using any cookie injector add-ons on Firefox or any browser, and he is able to do it. And I will show you one more thing here. As we all know, this first name is vulnerable. So see, we can also deface this website. We can change the look of this website. Of what we will do, I have my code. This is nothing, this is just HTML. And we will put it here and save it. So in first name, it will insert this piece of code in between their website. And when you refresh it, this page, see, it's showing hacked by CIC. And this is a stored thing. So if you log in my account will be like this. I mean my username and my password, which I made dummy. So it's stored in the website. And how this is stored is, I will tell you. I will show you the HTML code, and see, we will find for hacked. So see now, what is happening is, in their source code we are injecting it. In first name we are only supposed to write our name, but we have changed it to something like we have put our HTML code and it's being executed inside. So because why this is happening? Because this website, they have not configured, they have no validations. Like we all know, a name could be how much? Maybe 15 to 40, for 15 or 20 character. They must be putting like there should be no special characters, like to do cross site scripting we have to put
the script tag, the arrows and all. So if the website is configured in a good manner, so they can be safe, but this website have not taken measures. So even if you have e-commerce website, or even if your friends they are having website, then you can fix this. How you can fix it? You can put the sanitization of HTML, so that no one is able to supposed to put only their name. They cannot put HTML tags in their name, because their name could not be a script, their name could not be HTML. So you have to sanitize these things. So I have shown you live demo of XSS also. And there are many types of XSS, like stored, reflected, and also you can search on it, do a research that how this works and all. Now back to our presentation. Carriers I have discussed with you. So the same thing which I told you, I will show you using my laser pointer. Let me turn it on. Yeah. So here this website was Spain Travel, and we were the normal visitor. And what we have done is we have injected a malicious code. See, as you can see, injects the website with a malicious script, a script tag, or steals the cookie. See, as somebody have asked me that how they get the cookie. So for that they have to make a own server, and they have to redirect it. They have to forward the request to their server, and they will get the cookie of them. And this was the simple demo of XSS I have shown you. You can also perform it on the same website. And now this OTP bypass, I will tell you that how this OTP bypass works. So are you guys excited? Please let me know why you are quiet.
Sir, can I ask one more thing?
Yeah,
Before
sure.
starting your another section. When you inject that code, that is only visible for you. How I inject that code to that visible for others?
Yeah, it will be. Like, for example, not this site. If any other site, for example, OLX type site, like where you put your products and everybody views it. So this, when it will execute, is like if anybody visits your page, then only this will get executed. For example, you put an advertisement. For example, on OLX. On OLX, I think there is no cross-site scripting. They have patched it long back. So you post an ad on OLX, and in the ad you put a photo. For example, you're selling a bicycle, and then in the description you are not writing about cycle. You are opening a script tag and you are raising an alert. So whenever anybody opens your ad or your advertisement, the pop-up will come, or the cookie will get their cookie will come to you. This is the thing, because as of now you are thinking that why only you are able to see, but in practically, if somebody wants to misuse it, he can misuse it very well if XSS exists. This is just to check that XSS exists. Our motto is not to deface the site completely. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. So now many of you are interested in OTP
Sir?
bypass. Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, because this website is not secure.
Not secure. You're saying about
Sir,
HTTP.
yes, sir.
You're saying not the lock
Yes,
icon.
sir. Yes,
No,
sir,
no.
because they have no SSL certificate.
SSL, sure. You have knowledge of networking. Let me tell you. Not secure site doesn't mean that it will have a XSS. First thing. Not secured just means that your data will go unencrypted through the demilitarized zone, DMZ. Like, for example, your login, and if anybody have performed ARP spoofing, there is something called ARP spoofing. You might this ARP spoofing, what they will do is, if the site is not secure, he will get all the traffics he can sniff from tools like Wireshark and all. So secure and not secure, HTTPS and HTTP are not meant for XSS. It only says that on network level your data will not be encrypted. Anybody can view it. It's just for that.
Yes.
Even if they import a SSL certificate also, for example, there is a lock icon also, but still this will work. But when this will stop working, when they will apply filters on their website, when they will put checksums like only 10 character name you can input, more than 10 it will not work. So when you open a script tag only, it will complete your 5 character limit. So by doing that they can save. It's not about HTTP and HTTPS. HTTPS and HTTP is about the networking part. Anything else? Yeah. So now back to OTP bypass. So like every service or every web application, what they do is, if you forget your password or you register on some website, they give you a OTP. Generally it's a 4 digit, but for maximum security they also send of 6 digits. So to bypass OTP, it's nothing. It's very, like, you can say, you have to just apply your simple logic. You just have to apply simple logic that how you can bypass OTP. OTP is if OTP is of 4 digits, so OTP is of 4 digit. If it contains 4 digit, so apply normal logic. It could be from anything from 0000 to 9999. Do you all agree? It should be from 000 to 999. So now what you have to do, you have to do a check from 0001, 0002 till 9999. So total combinations are 9999. So to do it in practically, if you come and you have to do this practically, what you do is, in Burp Suite you can do it. In Burp Suite you get the request of anything, and where you have to put the OTP as, like, you have to check from 001, 002, 003, and you have to put it into the intruder tab of your this Burp Suite, and then you have to make a word list from 001 0000 to 9999. So then you put start doing it. Then whenever the correct OTP comes, you will get a server response to 00 OK. Whenever 200 OK comes, it means the web application or the web server is saying 200 OK. It means fine, that OTP is correct. For example, 3202 is your OTP, right? OTP. So that OTP is correct. So this is the main logic. So our logic Burp Suite will automate this logic. And as you can see, if we are sending OTP to someone, this girl have sent the OTP, she's asking, very cunning, but he will not tell the OTP. So she will apply this logic from 0000 to 9999. So this they can do using Burp Suite, and they can bypass the OTP using this thing. This is the main thing. So this was the additional part which I have added, but as you have seen in our poster that we were only supposed to discuss on carriers and the XSS attack I was going to show you, and the live price tempering which I have shown you in the beginning of this webinar. So yeah, so now you feel free to ask questions. If you have any questions, please let me know. We have covered all the topics. Please let me know if you are having any question of the whole webinar. If you are having any doubt or you need to ask something.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, tell me.
Hello. Sir, is there any need to say the impact of that particular vulnerability in the report?
Which vulnerability? XSS?
Yeah, any kind of.
Yeah, if you find XSS, then yes, then you can also put the post request that how you are exploiting it. Like here in this example.
I mean, is there a need to get the solution?
No.
To the company that how can we resolve this?
No, resolution is not your headache. It is if you, for example, you do it on Paytm, you find XSS or any attack or price tempering, you report them. Then it's not your headache to resolve it. Your task is to report them and show them actually how you are exploiting it. That's it. Nothing else.
तो अगर उसके जो कोडर्स होते हैं, जो उसके वेब डेवलपर्स होते हैं, वो अगर इस वल्नरेबिलिटी को रिजॉल्व करना जानते हैं, तो उसको पता नहीं होगा कि ये vulnerability हमारी साइट में है।
हाँ ओके। पर मतलब क्या, मैं समझा नहीं, फिर से बताए व्हाट यू आर सेइंग।
अगर कंपनी वाले को पता होगा कि ये vulnerability सपोज x है, ये vulnerability को हमने रिपोर्ट किया है, तो रिजॉल्व करना तो हमारी ड्यूटी नहीं है, वो करेंगे। अगर उसको रिजॉल्व करना आता होगा तो वो रिपोर्ट, तो उसको पता भी होगा ना कि ये vulnerability हमारे में है। मतलब कोडर को पता होगा इन सारी vulnerabilities के बारे में, ये जानना जरूरी है उसके बारे में, मैं ऐसा बोल रहा हूँ।
नहीं, कोडर को हमें बस बताना is important. It's not like we have to give solution. And he might not be knowing. Why he will know? Why he open a vulnerability in his own website? It's by mistake if there is a XSS left and they have not put sanitization of HTML, or there's a loop, then you can report it. They are not knowing about it. If they will be knowing about it, then why they will not patch it? So you will be telling, you are the one who will be telling them that there is a vulnerability and they will be patching it.
हम वर्क
अगर एक एज अ कोडर की जब हमारा जॉब हो तो वो हमें इन सारी vulnerabilities के बारे में ऑब्वियस टॉप 10 के बारे में जानना जरूरी है।
हाँ बिल्कुल. You must be knowing about OS top 10, because every software which you make, it goes through a test that there is at least these top 10 vulnerabilities are not there. And these are the basic vulnerabilities, but there are many big like remote code execution or remote shell upload and all, that maybe we will be discussing on our next webinar. So for this webinar, this we have just discussed about XSS.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can I, if I'm starting a bug bounty,
Yeah, sure.
then can I play a CTF firstly?
No. It's not required. Why will you
Okay,
play a
sir.
CTF? So it's up to you. If they are running that program, you can join it. If they are running bug bounty, and there are term and conditions also, that what all they are considering and what they are not considering and all. So if they are considering the bug you found, then you can report it well in advance.
But sir, some knowledge means some knowledge तो चाहिए ना, like Linux हो गया, networking हो गया.
Yes, for the bug bounty, what you need, basic needs, what you need is the networking part. There are tools like Nmap. Have you heard about Nmap?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes, sir.
Nmap is like the tool from which you can see the open ports, and you can check, or you should have a basic idea of networking. Not full, okay, but a basic idea, like okay, how to resolve a website into a IP address and like this. For example, if you want to resolve google.com, you need to know the IP address of it. So you need to write ns lookup space google.com. It will give the IP address of it.
Yes.
So these are the basic
Yes,
things.
sir.
You need to know networking, then you need to know bit of coding also. Coding in the sense like HTML, so that like here we have injected the code, so you should have the knowledge of basic HTML like this.
Okay, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you showed about OTP bypassing, no, sir. Like, if there is a bank transaction going on, can hackers easily bypass our
No.
OTPs also using Burp?
No. The thing I will tell you, I have seen a message also that I have discussed about OTP bypass, that but have not shown. Soon I will show you in next, because the thing is, this thing has been patched on many of the like servers or banks also. They have patched this because they give you trials. After 3 trials, your account will get locked. Or if you are doing it on WhatsApp, it will give you a waiting time, that try after 24 hours like this, because they know that you are doing this kind of thing. So they have patched, but still on many small sites, or maybe on some places, this may be there, that you can bypass them. It won't work everywhere, but this is the small logic I told you, that it will work when you do a bug bounty. That's why I have not shown you a full demo of it, but I just told you rough idea about it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My last question is, अगर हम किसी रैंडम वेबसाइट को विजिट करते हैं, उसमें वैलिडिटी हम पाते हैं, तो जैसे हम ईमेल करके रिपोर्ट कर सकते हैं या फिर बग बाउंटी प्रोग्राम में उसका होना जरूरी है?
No. For example, you visited any website, you found the vulnerability. So the main thing is if that company is not running bug bounty, the company is not that big. They are not running a program. So what you can do, you can find a contact of that website, the email address. Then you can email them that I have found such kind of vulnerability. So you can I can help you. Don't disclose it. You just have a negotiation that I found this serious vulnerability, and I will report you the full. I will give you the POC, the video, everything that how it can be exploited. So then after the negotiation, they say, okay, fine, you tell me. So we will give you swags or cash amount or something after we fix it. So yeah, you can. There is no need if the company is running bug bounty or not. You can also email them. That's fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Hello, sir. Sir, it was a wonderful interactive session. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Any questions on XSS or yeah?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Tell me.
So basically, I want to ask that for OTP bypass.
Yeah.
So we can bypass it. We can just bypass it by just changing the code in which it asks for the OTP. Then we can directly change the code to successful, improve code.
Yes, but
so sir, why we need? Yes, sir. But
just continue. Tell me. I'm hearing.
Yes, sir. So why we need to do the brute force and why we need to guess all the things?
Yeah.
So sir, in mostly I can check in mostly website it's working till now to bypass the OTP.
Yeah, mostly the websites are designed in such a way that if you enter OTP 3 times, you enter it wrong, it will get automatically logged or it will increase the time, like try after 10 minutes or something.
For that, but we can do one thing now because sir, when we get blocked account, when we when we put a request for unblocking that, we got in group source, we get a code, sir. Okay. Then we can change that code with the account which is running, which is not blocked, and then our account will get unblocked, sir. Even it was working 1 week before this vulnerability for Facebook is reported 1 week before, sir. But till now, in many such big companies, it's working, sir.
Yeah, because this some companies might not consider it as a bug because this is my main motive was not to tell you that how you can exploit. My motive was to open your views that when you do a bug bounty, then what kind of ideas you can think. For example, I give you a scenario to you all. This scenario to you all. For example, there is a voting going on. Not a voting, government voting, just a local voting in your, for example, in your society to make a head of your society. A voting going on a normal website. There are many websites out there. So, for example, there are 10 people for the voting, and you're just clicking on vote button, and they are getting one vote. For example, on abc.com, it's a voting website. I'm giving this scenario. So how will you increase it votes by 10,000? How will you do that? What will be your approach to do so? Please apply your logic and let me know.
Sir, just basic thing was that I was not saying about that. Sir, basically, I was saying that you are saying that they give a chance of 3 times only. After that, our account will be banned. Okay.
Yeah, it will be banned.
But sir, I'm saying that when we use group suit, there is an alert which said that the OTP is successfully verified or no. When we just change that alert.
Yeah. There is alert.
We will get that.
Yeah, you will get when the OTP is right. You will get a alert 200 OK. 200 OK. It means the OTP is right. And if you get a 403 or 503, yeah.
Sir, but what will happen when we change that alert only? We will directly change the alert. We are not saying about the OTP. I am not saying about the OTP that we will need to insert the OTP. What will happen when we will insert just successfully? We will change the alert to 200 OK or just to successfully.
No, that won't work. You have to try all the OTP possible OTPs then only, and it's very
No,
limited.
sir. Just before. No, sir. Just before 2 days, we have tried on many websites that it was going that time. Just was because 2 days before.
You have tried and you have succeeded.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
so
We have in
यहाँ पे दो
even
पहलू
only
है।
on
एक है ओटीपी को क्या है ओटीपी वो जानना, और दूसरा ओटीपी को बाईपास करना। अगर बाईपास
Yes,
करना है
sir.
तो ये जो बोल रहा है कि वो एरर आता है उसको इरेज करके सक्सेस लिख लेते हैं तो ओटीपी बाईपास हो जाएगा, और अगर ब्रूट फोर्स करेंगे तो ओटीपी हमें मिलेगा।
Yes, you are right.
Yes, sir.
OTP, if you want to bypass it, then you have to do this, that from 0000 to you have to make a word list using Crunch or anything.
No, sir. Even on even on BMW India website, in today also it is like it's not patched till now. You can try it in.
Yeah, I know on many
because
websites.
there are
it
many
works.
websites.
Yeah, it works.
Yes, sir.
But the thing is, why I am not showing, because it will have a negative impact. That's why I'm just telling the basic knowledge you should have. That, for example, you are constructing a website, then you patch this. That after 3 attempts, then no one can further enter any OTP.
Sir? Sir,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. Tell me.
Sir, I was seeing your demo on that payment gateway bypass. So I had one bug with me that in W3 schools where they have $95 per course. So in Bubsuit, if I do a parameter tempering, the value gets changed to $1. So that I have that bug with me. But how can I report to the W3 schools?
Which W3 schools where it has, they are providing any course and it's working? Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's working actually.
Okay, fine. What you can do is you can find the email, the official email of W3 school, and you can let them know, yeah, this is your thing, and you please patch it. And how you are reproducing it, you do one thing, you make a POC, proof of concept. You can record your screen and you can show that how this is working, and you can email them. You can email the link to the Google Drive, and they will come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Sir, are you going to plan any next session?
Next session, yeah, soon I will be planning. And are you there in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So stay in the group, and if there are any further webinars, we will let you know over there. Over on
sir,
the
thank you.
WhatsApp group. Yeah, welcome. Any other questions?
sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, as you know, one guy told that he found a bug in W3 schools. Like, is it illegal to directly test in websites?
Yeah, it is legal to test, but to exploit is not legal. For example, and even if you are testing, you can take a permission. You can write an email to them that, okay, I am this and I want to test your website. And if they grant you permission, then okay. But if you are testing a website, it's okay. But if you find the vulnerability and you are exploiting it, then it's not good. So if you find it, then straight away report it.
Yeah, I didn't buy the course. I did not buy that course.
Yeah, so it's a positive approach. Very nice. So the main thing is you have to be a white hat, not a black hat hacker doing all those bad stuff.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, actually.
Yeah. So that is the thing. Yeah. Anybody else? Tell me. 3 people have raised their hand.
Sir,
Yeah. Yes. Tell me.
if I want the lecture on different scenario or different topic, so can you conduct on that, sir? Like
Yes. Like for example, tell me on which topic.
upcoming lectures, sir?
Yeah. Sure. Why not? I will.
So I will take on the WhatsApp group, sir, so can you conduct on that?
Yeah, sure. Whenever it will be interest based, You tell me like on what kind of topic you have interest, you all. So I will go with it. In the next session, I will explain you that thing also. No issue. There are many much more things out there in cybersecurity. Sure, I will do it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
So, sir, if we are penetrating them or we are just looking them, then how we are going to exploit them or we are testing them. So if they got us to that we are testing them and they just found us that we are exploiting them, then how they will treat us?
Those things are complicated. Like they can even sue you that you are trying to hack into them. But it depends. It's up to them that what they will do. So if you find the vulnerability and you report it to them, it's fine. But or it's better you write an email and you take a written permission from them. Then you can conduct any kind of attacks or you can find vulnerabilities. Then it's totally legal. Then no need of complications, legal complications. Yeah, anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, if we have found a bug in a bug bounty program,
yes,
should we report only the findings or we need to exploit it and then show the impact of what it will happen to the account?
Yes, when you find, can you please mute your mic? Someone is have a voice is coming in background. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, now I will tell you. So if you find a bug on any website, so first of all, what you will do is when you found it, so automatically you will be exploiting it for the first time, for the very first time. So the next approach should be you have to report that to the website owner or on the website you have done it, and you give a POC. POC is point of concept, like how you have exploited it. You can record your screen, yeah, that how you have done it, or you can record your screen also, or what kind of requests you have sent it to them, and then how this whole process you have done it. Because every company, they will ask you how can we reproduce this, your findings, okay, but how can we reproduce it? So you have to make that clear only. Yeah.
So is there any necessity of exploiting the same vulnerability or just finding is enough, sir? That was my question.
Yeah.
So if we find a vulnerability, we'll write the steps of to how to reproduce the issue.
Yeah.
But my question is that should we exploit the same vulnerability?
No, you should not exploit it.
Because most of the companies, wherever I have reported, they will ask me to exploit and show me, like how it will impact outside.
Impact. Yeah, the main concern is that only for them, because they want to see the severity of your exploit, like it's medium or it's low or it's moderate. So that's why they ask you to exploit it in real life. So you can, if you are confident that yeah, your finding is okay, and it is like it keeps high or moderate thing, it can damage the web application, so you can also exploit. If they have given you the privilege to do so, you can do it. If they don't ask you, then no need to do. But if they say you that okay, you show me that how you're exploiting our website and how it is affecting us, then you can do it.
Okay, sir.
Would you like
Yes,
to bug bounty?
Bug bounty, as I have told you, two links, you might have noted it down: hackerone.com and bugcrown.com. There you can check all the list of all the companies are registered on that. I will
Sir,
show
your
you.
journey.
Yes. Hello. I think
Sir, what is your journey in bug bounty? I have told that.
Bug bounty. You are asking about me. But I have started bug bounty around 5-6 years ago, when I was maybe in 10th. Then what the thing is, like there was a website called, like there are many websites who increases your Instagram followers and all. They are called social media marketing. So what I did there was, it was my first bug bounty, like the finding which I have found, that a website was there and they provide a service like you can the service is very costly, like for $50 they provide you I think 100 followers on Instagram. So but for the demonstration what they do is they give you a 50 followers free as a trial. So what I did is the trial thing I have exploited it, and I have taken around the 50 followers trial I have taken around something 10,000 times. So you multiply 10,000 by 50, so that many followers I got into my account, and even they were providing the likes, 50 likes free for everybody to check. So like that have started. Then I have done it on many websites. Then even on Paytm I have found vulnerability that there was leak of PAN card and also have reported to them. Then later on I registered to hackerone.com, and there are many list of many websites like that full detail is provided that how much they will be paying you and what vulnerabilities will be considered and what will not be considered, and you can do it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes, anybody else?
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I was asking that
Yeah, I'll come back to. Yeah, you tell me. Yeah.
sir, a student was saying about W3 school's vulnerability for price tampering.
Yeah.
But sir, yes, sir. But sir, this vulnerability was found 2 years ago only. Because on internet we can also search that it was found 2 years.
It's the same vulnerability.
Yes, sir. So then, what will happen if he will report? If he is saying that he will report, then I don't think so that anybody will give him any reward for that because it's already founded and it will be counted as duplicate.
Duplicate? No. Let me tell you. Let me clear this confusion. See, the thing is, okay, fine. This thing was found maybe around 3 years back, 4 years back. It was in top 10 OS in 2000 back in 2013. Okay, but the thing is, many web developers or many web application which are hosted, they don't have the knowledge that they have this vulnerability on their servers or their websites. So when they run a bug bounty, so that's why they run bug bounty. If they are knowing that they have vulnerability, why will anybody open a port or open loophole in their website? They are not knowing. In fact, that's why it has been left. And if you find it, it will not be considered as duplicate. It will only be considered as duplicate. For example, Paytm has opened up a bug bounty program. It's currently running. And for example, you and for example Abhishek, they found the same bugs and they have reported to them. So they will check the email, the timestamp that who have sent before. If for example you have sent before, then they will consider Abhishek's as duplicate, or if Abhishek have sent before, then they will consider you as duplicate. But it's up not like that it was it came before 3 years. So it's for the Paytm or any company for whom you are doing bug bounty, because they are not aware. That's why they are running this bug bounty. And if you report it before anybody else, so it will not be considered as duplicate, and they will fix this in future.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Welcome.
Hello, sir.
Yes, tell me, Ananya.
So, if you have used any automated tools,
Yeah,
so
fine.
for example, in a particular domain, like target domain,
Okay.
and we are continuously finding out some vulnerability for 2 to 3 days, like we are continuously reaching out that domain, and if they block our IP address just because we were using some automated tools.
Yeah, you are
So is
right.
it allowed in bug bounty programs? Is it allowed to use automated tools?
Yes, in bug bounty programs, automation tools are allowed, fine. But as you have said that they have blocked your IP, or if they blocks IP, why they block IPs? They have a IPS or IDS installed on their servers. It's called intrusion prevention system or an intrusion detection system. So what it do is, if you're running an automation tool, what automation tool do is it continuously sends a crafted request to the server, and it takes the response, sends this to the server and takes the response. So automation tools, for example, in 10 minutes it's sending 10,000 requests to the site. So it will consider you a threat and it will block your IP address. For example, your IP address is something 157 something, it will block it. So if you are using an automation tool, and as you asked me that is it allowed to use, so you can check the term and conditions, because every bug bounty, they have their conditions, like yeah, they are considering it the bug as a bug or not, or they are allowing you to do this thing or not. Because the thing which you are telling me, it may they may consider it as DDoS attack, denial of service, that attempt to take their server down. That's why they are blocking the IP, nothing else.
Okay, sir.
Yes, yes. Yes, anything else?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, could you please explain what are called checksums?
Checksum would be very okay. I'll tell you in a very short manner. What is checksum is, for example, these things are, you can after this session you also Google like Hamming code and this checksum. What they do is they remove the errors from the, like from the data from which has been tempered. For example, the price was 500 in our example which I showed you, and we changed it to 1. So if they have applied the checksum and the initial checksum before we purchase, and after the checksum after on the page where we were buying, so when there is checksum is installed on the website, it has been configured, so it will compare the checksum of both before and after. And if it finds that the checksum have been changed, if you change the price, then obviously the checksum will change, and they will come to know that yes, you have tempered it, and they will come to know. So this is basically checksum. Even Hamming code and these things work. Even if we are talking, I'm having a conversation with you, my voice is being converted into digital signal and coming back to you. So even there are many things like if my voice is getting some kind of disturbance or something, it will correct it. It will reduce the packet loss. So that's why these things are used.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
I came to hear by one of my friends said that having Truecaller in mobile is harm to device. Whether it is correct, sir?
Having
Because
Truecaller.
he said yes, sir. He said that a Truecaller will access your data backend.
Yeah. I will tell you. See, this is very simple. Any app you are installing, it is asking you permission of your contact, permission of your location, and all. So Truecaller is also asking you permission of your contacts. You click on OK because it has to check your contacts when you call. Truecaller has a dialer also. So when you click on OK, what Truecaller does is it imports all your contacts and it takes it to their own server. So if you have allowed it on Truecaller, so it uploads all your contact to Truecaller server. So that's why, like for example, you are searching my phone number on Truecaller, like any number 99111111. So how it will come to know that it's me, Ayush Trivedi, because someone, for example, my friend Badal, he have my contact saved, Ayush Trivedi, and he have installed Truecaller. So that's it has been uploaded to Truecaller, and when you search my number, it's coming showing my name. So the thing is, yes, Truecaller is storing your contacts to their server, and any app, even WhatsApp, you are clicking OK and you open WhatsApp web also, it's showing all your contacts. Why it's showing? Because they have a copy of their of your contacts. And even Truecaller was hacked, I think, before 2-3 months, and many of the data were leaked: phone number, email addresses, and the names of the users. So yes, your friend was right that Truecaller is not that safe.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, ask me a last question because we are running out of time. And yeah, tell me.
Yes.
So what about the Zoom application? Zoom conference application.
Zoom conference application. Yeah, Zoom conference application is not taking your this contacts permission, but there was a thing like when you install Zoom on your Windows or Android, it was not in iOS or Mac OS. It was in only in Windows and all. So what they were doing is they were executing a code, a privileged code that they get the privilege of your system. There was a loop in that. So there are things like remote code execution and all. You will, if you Google out, you will come to know. So there were many loops, or even if a meeting is going on. For example, now a meeting is going on. So if I have not shared or I have not given them privilege to join. So in Zoom, what they were doing is they are putting zoom.com/ the meeting code. They were doing it brute force. They were doing, so there was no checksum on it. Like they can do it n number of times. They were Zoom was not blocking the IP, or they were not. So anybody can get into the meeting of anybody else without the permission of the organizer of the meeting. So this was only the bug, and it has been fixed now. But yeah, but I don't prefer Zoom because there are many like rumors also, and it has been hacked before also, and Microsoft Teams, and you can also use Cisco WebEx and all. It's just a suggestion from my side. Yeah. So okay, last question you can still ask, and because we are running out of time, it's 5:44. Our session was supposed to end at 5:30. So please ask me a last question so that I can end this session. Anybody?
Sir, will you please upload this in YouTube?
Yeah, sure. My screen has been recorded, and your last question is also has been recorded, and I'll upload this screen recording on my YouTube channel. I'll provide the link in the WhatsApp group.
Sir, and there is a small suggestion from my side, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Please arrange the upcoming webinars on Kali Linux and Metasploit, sir.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Why not? Sure, we will on Linux, and we will do it. Kali Linux or Ubuntu, any of the distro of Linux, we will do it. Sure. Thanks for the suggestion.
And conduct webinar on Kali Linux tools, sir.
Tools, yeah, maybe around 10-15 tools we will do it in one session. Sure, it would be a long session. We will plan accordingly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Okay, then thank you, everybody.
Can you?
Okay,
Yeah,
Abhishek.
sir. Last question.
Fine, Abhishek. Ask me.
Sir, can you arrange a seminar for Arc Linux user? Like many penetration tester, advanced penetration tester use Arc Linux, but there are many loopholes, or like there are many applications even you don't know how to use. So can we arrange a seminar in it, like introduction to Arc Linux?
Okay, sure. I will do it, because there are many things like there are vulnerabilities in the shell, or they can also bypass the login screen in Linux. You can change the password without knowing it, and still it exists.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
sure, we will do it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, thank you everybody for joining this session and giving your time, precious time, and nice to have you all. And it was very interactive, and really it was very nice. You have interacted so much with me, and it was very nice. And sure, I will upload this video also. You can also follow up, and please join our upcoming webinars also in future. And thank you very much. It was a very pleasure to have this session with you all. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.